Welcome to the Marriage Be Like podcast. We're your host, Kenny.
And Kenya.
And we are so glad that you are joining us today. Listen, this podcast is here to discuss love and relationships, life topics, and how to navigate through it all.
Disclaimer, we are not specialists or counselors or professionals in these fields. We are a married couple who's got 27 years of life experiences under our belt. We hope to open some discussions, build communication, and plant some seeds. So sit back, enjoy, and let's have a conversation and grow together. Welcome back to another episode of the Marriage Be Like podcast.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Mm-hmm.
That's my new song, y'all.
No.
Oh, wow. Can I have something? Just a little bit.
Just for them 2 seconds. That was it.
I mean, I am a producer extraordinaire.
You are, babe.
Oh, wow. I don't even like the tone. I don't like the tone.
No, I was going to say you are, just not for that.
Can we start this episode right? Please.
Welcome back again.
Welcome back.
No, brother. No, sir.
I can't get ahead for nothing, man. See how I get treated. Anyway, I'm taking over. Welcome back to another episode of the Marriage Be Like podcast. We are so glad that you are joining us.
We're happy.
Yes.
If it's your first time, thank you for tuning in.
Right.
And if it's not your first time and you listen every week.
Yeah.
Every week.
We really appreciate it, Yeah. So listen, for those of us who are listening on envision-radio.com.
So for our return listeners, we appreciate you tuning in every week. Make sure you tell your friends and family you have found the best marriage podcast.
Listen, people, do you hear this? I am so proud of you right now, Kenya.
The best marriage podcast.
Yes.
But not only marriage. Look, we talk about all kinds of things.
That's right. We talk about all kinds.
Relationships in general, too.
Yes. So you ain't got to be married to listen to the Marriage Be Like podcast.
We named it Marriage Be Like because we're married.
That's it. Yeah, we've been married for a long time.
A lot of the information that we give, a lot of the discussion, really much of it can go for general relationships.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. So, yeah.
And today's one of those days.
Yes, it is actually. You know what? You got a good point.
Today's one of those days because we're talking about finding the one.
The one.
But before we jump into it, make sure that you go to our website and check out all of our other episodes.
Yes.
On marriagebelike.com. So you can check out all of those.
Yes.
On Fridays, because only on Thursday.
Only on Thursday at
4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That's
3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Will you get the Marriage Be Like podcast on Envision Radio?
Oh, see.
You're supposed to be with me.
No, because you got to decide whether or not you're going to say envision-radio.com.
I say Envision Radio because that's what we own. Okay. All right. So thanks for listening. Make sure you check out the information on our website and always listen to us. Come back every week. So today we're talking about finding the one. The one. Yes, the one whom you are to marry. The one in a serious relationship. Okay. So this episode is for those who are looking, wanting to build a family, dating, etc. All right. So is there such a thing as the one?
Ooh.
I have my answer. What's your answer?
My answer is, I think there is the one, but, and I don't want to sound crazy when I say this, all right?
Okay.
But can there not just be only one? And I don't mean at the same time. Don't get this twisted, right? I don't mean, I'm not trying to justify us, being with more than one at the same. But what I'm saying is, sometimes, as we start talking about what the one is, one thought for me is, what is our tolerance level for certain things, and and how different people fit in that. So I think that there is the one, but I don't believe that it's always just, or is only just one, because if something happens to that one, there may be another.
Yes. Well, I would agree there.
Yeah.
I would agree there.
Yeah.
Not everyone finds, and when we say something happens, I'm not necessarily talking about divorce,
Right.
necessarily. But there can be cases where you married the wrong one and then divorced, and then later find your actual one. I think that in situations of death,
yeah,
and then God blesses you with another one.
Yeah, and that's and that's kind of my point there. Another one.
Right.
So I don't.
But that's why I said we're just gonna stick with the title, the one.
The one, yeah.
You don't know what else to call it. That makes sense, and it's more recognizable in general.
Yeah, because I guess when we say the one, it implies that this is the only person that you could have ever been with.
Correct.
So I don't think that that's fair to say.
I agree in certain circumstances. I agree.
Yeah. So okay. I mean, that is your answer, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And yes.
Okay. All right. I mean, because the idea here is, right? I mean, what are we talking about? How do we recognize that?
Yeah. How do you recognize that? Because especially in a dating situation, you want to be able to recognize so that you don't marry the wrong one.
I mean, now
you don't want to have to go through unnecessary life choices and life problems.
Here's the thing now. Hear me out. Okay.
Go ahead.
The wrong one still has the one in it.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
So, I mean.
Yeah. The goal, of course, is to find your match.
Find the right one.
Do we say that instead of the one? Find your match. Find the one that works for you, the one who's made for you, the one who is your person.
Yeah. You know what? Remember a gift that was given to us was a pair of mugs.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And what those mugs say?
Mr. and Mrs.
Nope.
Oh, that's not what it says.
That's not what it said. Right. You were close.
We got 2 sets of mugs.
It was one set of mugs. One set of mugs.
Minute. The same set? I thought one said Mr. and one said Mrs.
Yes, it was, but now get it right. Say it how it was. Oh man, do I need
Mrs. Right?
Close. Close.
I don't know what your mug said.
No.
My mug said Mrs. Right.
No, it didn't.
What did it say?
No. My mug said Mr. Right.
And what's mine say?
Mrs. Always Right.
Always Right. There we go. I knew it was something I could brag about.
Anyway.
I was like, "Ooh, I like this mug."
Yeah, you would. So, anyway, why did I have to remind you of that?
I don't know, but you know what? I'm gonna drink out of it tonight.
So, if you're Mrs. Always Right,
reminded that I'm always right.
If you're Mrs. Always Right, are you the one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
all right.
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. She got the big head, y'all. It's so big.
Look.
It's so big right now that I'm being suffocated. I can't even breathe right now. There's no room left in the room for.
I only bumped into yours. That's it. That's it.
So, all right. So, is there anything that we need to do before dating or looking for a spouse, or looking for the one? I mean, or how do we go out looking for the one? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Is that 5 questions in one?
There's probably 100 questions in there. I don't know that you necessarily go out looking for the one. You go out, you hope you find somebody you can connect with. That makes sense? You go out, you hang out with friends, you can go to the grocery store. Lots of places to meet people when you're single.
Yeah.
As far as going out and specifically looking for the one, I don't know that that's possible.
But don't you feel like so many people do that though?
I assume that they may.
I mean, I don't know. From a male perspective, can I share my perspective?
I mean, I'm not a dude, so go ahead.
I am a boy.
Right.
But from a male perspective, I mean, I think that when you are at a point where you're ready to settle down, that there is a search going on. I mean, I think guys are always searching. And whether it,
guys are definitely always searching for something.
For something, right? I know, and I'll concede that. I definitely will. Right.
And women probably, especially when you are ready to be involved in a serious relationship. I'm not saying that women don't go searching.
Okay.
I'm not saying that. I just don't know that we understand, or that I don't know that you can directly go search for the one. You can go search to see if there's someone who you connect with, someone who you can talk to, and maybe even start a relationship with. I don't know that you go out and say, "Ooh, this guy right here is the one."
I mean, if you're looking at
just
the physical attributes, right?
That guy right there might be your type, but being the one to fit you.
6 feet tall, kind of, light skin, you know what I'm saying, with a nice, good beard, a short haircut.
I'm trying to figure out who you described.
Myself. Come on
you
now.
You are not 6 feet. So once you said 6 feet, I was like, wait a minute.
I'm close.
You're close. You are. You're very close.
Can you, I mean, the people are listening. They don't see me.
You said short haircut.
Yeah, my hair's short.
Or there's nothing there.
No, there's something here. Look, you can see that. I'm sorry. People, you know what? I'm questioning. No.
There shouldn't be nothing there. How about that?
There shouldn't be.
You should be bald.
That's another episode. So see, and people, you hear me say that a lot. That means I don't want to talk about that right now.
Yes, it does.
That's a whole nother episode. So let's stop talking about it now. You can save it for another.
Describing his wishful thinking self. Yes.
Anyway, but okay. So if we're looking for the outward appearance of an individual,
yes,
right, then it's easy to go out looking for someone.
Yes.
Right.
Because you're going out looking for someone who are fits. Attracted to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, granted, for most people,
your typical look. Yeah.
Yeah. For most people, then
for those who have that, I for one don't.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. For most people, because you don't fit in that most people category.
No. I'm cool. You can say you ain't got to be ashamed about it because I'm not.
Who are looking for a particular, look.
Yeah.
Then, it's easy. Just go out there and say, oh, yeah, he or she looks like.
But that doesn't make them the one.
No, it doesn't. It just
means that they fit your general.
It doesn't.
Preference.
So then imagine then we need to kind of hone in on what we should be doing in order to look for that one, right?
Yes.
So what do we need to do?
First, you got to work on yourself.
Okay. Explain that. Help me out here.
You need to work on yourself because here's the thing. You need to know what it is you're looking for. So we just talked about outward appearance and the more things that you may be attracted to in general.
Okay.
Right? Well, the one who fits you as a husband or the one who fits you as a wife may not be your general look. May not be your typical type. Thus far, it ain't worked. You still looking.
Mm-hmm.
So try something different. Maybe that's not the situation. Maybe your type may be, short and dark skinned like me.
Yes. Yes.
But you didn't know that before me. So
no. Sure didn't.
That's the thing. So to go and look for what you generally are attracted to doesn't necessarily always work.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
So you need to work on yourself. You
work on yourself
and be able to have. You do want things that specifics that work for you.
Mm-hmm.
More specifically, personality.
Yeah. So
character and temperament.
Yeah.
Those are the things you really want to. But in order for you to know those things and what works for you, you have to know you.
You've got to know yourself. Yes. And I like to put it this way. You want to reconcile with who you are.
That is correct.
And in reconciling with who you are, you have to be honest with yourself.
It's true.
And sometimes there are things that we don't like about ourselves. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's not a self-esteem thing. It's just hey, this is something that I could probably do better with. Mm-hmm. Right. And as a result, we may need to consider if we're making this decision rationally, we may need we may need to In the beginning, I can't talk. In the beginning, we may need to consider that the person that may be the one would complement us in those areas that we are weak, in those areas that we don't like about ourselves.
True.
Agreed. Where we are challenged in our own personality, our own behaviors, even.
Yes.
And so, and that's a hard thing for us to do.
It is hard, but if you go ahead and work on you'd be ahead of the game.
Yeah, you would be.
Yeah. Decide what you need in a person, like personality and such.
Mm-hmm.
We need to complement each other.
Mm-hmm.
When dating, be honest and say what you want for the future.
Mm.
Because once you do start dating someone, you may not know that they're the one even right off, first off.
Right.
Let's start there.
Right.
But then whoever it is that you're dating, they need to know ahead of time, look, this ain't no hookup. I'm dating for marriage. I'm dating for a serious relationship.
Okay. Hold on, though. Hold on. I want to stop you there for a second. No, I'm not, I don't want to rebut what you're saying.
Okay.
All right. I'm just throwing in a, I don't know, devil's advocate.
Okay.
For lack of a better term. So does that not, if I start talking about I'm dating for marriage, maybe is it too early? When is it too early to say that kind of thing, to be honest, to that honest about it, to where it doesn't put somebody off?
Well, that's the thing. You don't know until you try. And you don't know if it's going to put them off or not. You don't know until you feel comfortable with that person. Because I'm not going to say it, well, not me, but no one really is going to say it on the first date.
Right.
The chances of you saying it when you first meet them are even slimmer. So you have to get to know them some, but yes, the vibe should also be, hey, I'm ready to settle down.
Okay.
And if you put out those vibes, then they probably generally would know ahead of time.
Yeah. Yeah. I get you. I get you. Okay.
But it can be a discussion. It's not impossible either.
And then
on the flip side of it.
Yeah. And then maybe
there is a chance that someone just might say that ahead of time. And you know what? Go on and run off.
Yeah.
Because now at least you know where I stand.
Right. And that's kind of where I was going to go to with that. It's if maybe that, you save me some time then.
This is true.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So anyway, okay. All right. So then we don't want to settle.
No, you don't want to settle.
We don't want to settle.
Yeah. Decide not to settle.
Right.
That's the thing. Because sometimes in dating, you shift back and forth. Today, I'm not going to settle. You know what? 2 months from now, I'm going to settle. Maybe I'll drop.
Well, okay.
But no, you don't want to settle because you want to have what you need for you as a person that fits for you and for the growth of long-term life.
So this is I want to back up a little bit. I want to talk about reconciling
Yes.
who you are,
Mhm.
right? And what you are willing to tolerate.
Yes.
All right. Because you talk about settling. Settling and tolerating are two different things in my opinion.
Also true.
Okay. We don't want to come across someone and say, oh, well, I can fix that. Right.
Yeah, no, you don't want to do that.
We don't want to do that.
You can't fix people.
No. But then what we are willing to deal with or tolerate, right? Like, you decide what is important to you.
Yes.
Right. Remember, we talked about this in the how to argue with your spouse.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Some of the things that are less important to us. Why would I make a big deal out of that?
It. That's correct.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So then there are certain things. Now it may be different for different people.
Yeah.
Right. So then when we see certain things, we have to know what we're willing to tolerate, what we're willing to, and how we're going to place these issues on the hierarchy of frustration. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Right. So we decide not to settle.
But you also don't want to go too extreme either. Like
Right.
your list can't be 100,000 things.
Right.
And then you want every single thing. You want your mate to have every single thing on there.
Right.
It can't be extreme.
Right. Right. Well, and I guess that's where I'm going with that too, right? There's, does she have or he have all the good things? And then maybe there's a couple things you're like, You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And if that's the case, those two things don't mean that they're not the one, right?
That is correct. I mean, and here's the other thing. It's you don't know whether those things are going to come to play later on.
Yeah. Because we are always evolving.
That's the goal. You want to always evolve and grow and become a better person. And who you are today won't be who you are in 10 years, or at least we hope not. Don't get stuck.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah.
But if you don't want nobody who ain't gonna be stuck, you need to recognize that early on.
We ought to be growing together. Growing together.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So what else?
So be ready to not ignore red flags.
Ooh. How many times? I'm sorry.
Red flags are a thing.
Red flags are a thing. And
Yes.
how many times do we ignore them because we desire so much to be?
Be ready to not ignore them.
Yeah.
Because red flags will be waving right in your face and then you don't even recognize it. Or you will recognize it and say, no, it's all right.
Yeah.
Now, a red flag is a red flag.
A red flag is a red flag. Now, not to be confused with what we are willing to tolerate.
Correct.
Okay. And when I would please understand this, not to be confused with what we are willing to tolerate.
So let's give an example.
Okay.
So a red flag in dating would be hostile speak.
Oh, wow.
That is not to be tolerated by anyone.
That's right.
So then the speaking to someone in a downward way, that person, whoever you're dating, should always be lifting you up.
Yeah.
And so that is something that you should not tolerate. You should just keep it moving. That's a serious red flag.
That's a red flag. Someone who, like you said, mean speak, they're condescending in their tone when they speak to you. They can do harm, and that right
because
there.
Because it's abusive language.
Yes.
So then yes.
Yeah.
You don't want any of that. And that is not to be tolerated.
Right.
That is a serious red flag.
Yeah.
So you don't want that red flag waving at you and then you just say, he didn't mean it.
And another thing another difference would be someone who snores at night.
Hey, for some it don't bother and for some it does.
But snoring is not a red flag.
It's not a red flag because in 10, 15, 20 years, you all can end up snoring.
Everybody be snoring too.
But hey, it might be a red flag to somebody now. I don't know. Sometimes red flags change. That might be a red flag now, and maybe it wouldn't be later.
How is snoring a red flag?
I don't know. I'm just saying. Let's say, for instance, if they are a light sleeper.
It's not a red flag.
I would have to agree. I was just trying to, what do you say, devil's advocate? I was just trying to give another perspective.
Yeah, snoring is a tolerable, I won't say tolerable offense, a tolerable trait. You're not going to get me to
Okay, give me another example.
Now we're moving on.
Okay.
It's a topic for another episode.
Okay. Funny.
Listen, but when we're saying these things, right? Don't stress over being single.
Right. Don't stress over being single.
Right. So many times we are so that desire to be with someone is just overwhelming that we ignore the red flags, that we decide that we are going to settle, that we are not honest with ourselves, that we don't even know what we're looking for, right? And we don't even know ourselves. It's just like that insatiable desire to be with someone.
Yeah, because you can be alone and not lonely. So then don't allow loneliness to creep in.
Yeah.
Enjoy your time.
You can be not alone and be lonely.
Well, no, this is true. But
that's
enjoy your time and grow. Learn yourself so that you know. And then don't allow loneliness to creep in.
Yeah.
Hang out with friends.
Yeah.
Get yourself active. So on and so on and so forth.
Yep.
And then also pray.
Pray about it.
Yeah, we're Christians. So praying is a thing.
It is a thing.
And God can do whatever he wants to do.
He is a limitless God.
That is correct. He's a limitless God. So then pray for your one.
Yes.
Pray and fast if you got to.
Yes.
Here's the thing. It can't hurt. It can only help.
It can only help. Yep. My God is wonderful.
Mm-hmm. All right. You ready to move on to a segment, babe?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. What's our segment this week?
This segment is What Moved Me This Week.
All right.
Yeah.
You ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. I want
you
you
to
to
go first.
Nope.
I went first last time, didn't I? Wasn't it me?
Nope.
It wasn't me?
Nope.
Okay, I'll go first.
Thank you.
So what moved me this week was my cousin's coming to town.
Oh, yes. Yes.
My cousin, shout out to Sylvia, my cousin Sylvia. Shout out to Mimi,
Camille. Yep. And the babies.
Yes, and the babies. They're there, Darian and Charlie.
Charlie, yes.
Mm-hmm. Sylvia brought her grandkids down. We had a great time. I was so excited. I'm still excited. I haven't quite come down off the weekend yet.
Right.
I'm just so happy. So happy to hang out with my cousins. And Sylvia came down because we had Cousins Weekend.
Okay.
Cousins Weekend. That's what I was calling it. We did it in Kentucky last year.
Right, yes.
And then we were supposed to do it again this year, which we did.
Mm-hmm.
And my cousin Maria wasn't able to come.
You know, I didn't realize that was what the whole ordeal was. It was the Cousins Weekend.
Yes, our bonding time.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't always done this. Much of it was because, our kids were younger, blah, 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 blah. But now we've all our kids are grown. Except Sylvia, she still has one who's in high school. But, it just leans more to the time we are in our lives. We're not, our kids aren't so dependent on us like that anymore because of their age.
Yeah.
So being able to connect again and bond again when we grew up together. So, yeah.
Okay.
But of course, I also don't live where they live.
Yeah.
So that also is a challenge. So, yeah. But I was like, look, we turned 50. We doing something different. And we had a blast.
Getting turned up.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So, yes. So we did it this time for 51.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So I was moved that they came.
Yes. Well, is my turn?
Yes.
Okay. I'm ready to share mine. So while you were, partying it up with your cousin, you know what moved me this week? Actually, the exact same time while you were hanging out with Sylvia, I got to hang out with my dad.
Yes.
And, he texts me, he doesn't live too far from us, about 2 hours away. And so whenever he comes in town, he'll holler at me and say, hey, let's go shoot some pool. And I try my best to beat him. And
do you?
No, I don't. Actually, this time I didn't. The time before, and we had our son with us. So I won that one.
Okay.
Yeah, sure did. But no, he beat me fair and square this time. But I really enjoyed it. He grew a beard.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. So I just really enjoyed spending the time. It wasn't a whole lot of time. Because we were all just so busy.
Oh yeah, it was a busy, packed weekend.
Yeah. So, but all in all, it was. I really enjoyed that. Times that we can cherish, just to be able just to hang out.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's what moved me, just to be able to hang out with my pops, my dad. Yeah. So there it is.
Oh, that was so beautiful. We both have visiting family.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to tell you why. Another reason why that made me feel good, because I knew you was going to be busy with your family. So I'm like, what am I going to do? Sylvia came down here and took my wife away, and I didn't have nothing else to do.
I know, right?
Anyway, moving on.
Yes.
So we're talking about the one. The one. So I have a question.
What's your question?
All right. Can you have found the one and not know it?
Yes, I believe that is possible.
Do you believe that is possible?
Yes.
How? How do we believe that?
Because I know somebody who went through that.
What?
I feel like they're married now to the one, but they dated some time ago. They broke up. Many years passed, and then they got back together. Yeah.
Really? And okay, the same two, right?
The same two, yes.
I'm just trying to follow this.
Yeah.
And they were the ones so they didn't know it the first time.
They probably did not know it. Yeah.
I mean, so in what I guess
it happens.
But if they were the one, how did we get broken up? How did that happen?
I don't know.
You know, now maybe, and so here's a thought, right? Because the person may be the one, but not yet.
Could be.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not God. I don't know all the details.
You know,
but yeah.
So, and to that point, you say, I'm not God. I don't know all the details. But here's the thing, right? I remember, we had Pastor Stokes on the end of February.
Yes.
I remember he said something when he was in March and February.
Yes, he was.
But it was something he said at the end of February, and he was talking about God preparing me or showing me how to love the person that He has prepared for me.
Yes.
That's awesome. I mean, he said that then, and I was like, man, I had to bring attention to it then, and it still resonates with me even now. But I can imagine then that this couple you're referring to, right? You know, the preparation was still going on, maybe. You know, and maybe God said, well, you know what? If you act right, I'll give you a taste.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know, maybe they didn't recognize, or maybe, life things happened.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I know there was a story, I wish I remembered, but a couple of years ago on the news, there was a story of a family who were dating, and then he got sent to war. And then many, many, many years passed, they lost touch. She remarried, or she married. He married after the war. And then many years later, both their spouses died, and they found each other again.
Wow.
So when you say maybe the one, but not now, that's a possibility. That's why I said I'm not God, I don't know. But here's the thing, to be able to recognize it is a great thing.
Yeah.
Whenever that time period happens, you want to be able to recognize it and say, hey, okay.
And how does that manifest itself to you? I imagine it's different for...
I think it's different for everyone. Yeah. I think it is. You could be the couple and each not know, or you could be the couple and one know.
And I wonder how that works, right? One person knows, the other one doesn't.
Yeah.
You know? Did you know I was the one?
Look, I'm looking at you.
Did you know?
I wasn't sure we was going to go there, but yes, I knew. But you didn't know.
You know what?
You didn't know? You didn't know.
I had to think. I have to think about this, okay? Let me think about this, because I'd be honest with you. I enjoyed what was developing.
Yes.
Between us. I loved the way you made me feel.
Yes.
I mean,
and vice versa.
Yeah, I did. And I knew that I wanted to feel that way.
Right.
Forever. I mean, I'd get off of work and have a hard day, and just to hear your voice, right? That was one of the things I talked about, what I love about you, another one of our segments.
Correct.
Right. I love to hear your voice. It was that, the way she do it. I know that was terrible, but that's what I loved, and I wanted that always.
Sure.
And so...
Does that make me the one for you? So you're saying that you wanted that always, but you didn't go past that point?
No. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, okay, let's talk. Let's take another. I keep referring back to previous episodes, right? But we talked about the 5 love languages.
Yes.
Remember, my top was words of affirmation.
Yes.
And just it was those types of things that drew me to you.
Got it. Yeah.
Right. So I may not have conceptualized the idea that you were the one.
Just like I didn't conceptualize that I was doing words of affirmation or the 5 love languages at all at that point.
Right. But, it wasn't, I don't know that I sat and like, oh, she's the one, because it was, no, I want to go back to that.
Yeah, I understand.
Not like you were that, but
yeah, no, you're right. Go ahead and clean it up, because I understand because you're my husband, but everybody else don't understand.
I want to go back to this person who made me feel this way.
Yes,
and
who made you feel loved.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and so and maybe that is the way it manifests to me that you are the one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
I can dig it.
Can you dig it? Okay, because so then it begs the question, right? How do we know, right? How does it manifest itself?
Which is why I say I think it does differently. I think it's different for everyone. I think it's different for every person, not even necessarily a couple. I think it's different per person.
How did it?
We all have our own love languages.
Yes.
We all understand life differently because we're different. So then it should, in my opinion, manifest itself. It may not be exactly the same. It could be close.
Mm-hmm.
But because we're different people, we're going to just see life differently.
So can I ask you this?
Yeah.
How did you know I was the one?
I think for me, you checked many of my boxes. I had done some personal work just within myself. I had gone through some things. And so it took me into looking at myself and being able to recognize a few things. So knowing that, and of course, just previous relationships and saying, oh, I don't want that, or this did not work well for me in this particular relationship, blah, 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 which I think is what dating is supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So then by the time you and I were dating, I recognized that many of the things that we connected with, I needed in my life. For instance, I knew I needed someone musical. That was a must. There was no question about it.
Okay.
You had to be musical. I didn't care if you played an instrument or not, but you had to sing.
Oh,
you had to be musical.
Okay.
If you wrote a little bit, that was even better, which you checked that box, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I knew that, which could have been an adjustment, but I preferred someone 5'10".
5'10".
Yes.
Right at 5'10".
Yes.
And I'm 6 feet.
You're 5'11". So you checked the box. Check.
Oh, wait. Are you saying at least 5'10"?
Yes.
Okay, so you could have been taller than 5'10".
Yeah, well, at that time, yeah, absolutely.
But you're like 4'2".
I'm not. I'm 5'3".
Okay, 5'3".
But at that time, I wore stilettos quite a bit. So then, that ups me. But I wanted someone tall. It just is what it is. It doesn't matter what my height is.
Right.
And I didn't care how tall they went. I just knew 5'10" was a must.
Oh, okay. So no one shorter than that.
Yes, preferably.
Okay. Nothing's wrong with short people.
No. Again, my preference.
Yeah.
My
mother's 4'11". She's short.
Is she really 4'11"?
Yeah.
No, she's not.
Yeah, she is.
Aww.
My mother is tiny, man.
I know, she's so little and so sweet. I love me some Noni. Shout out to Noni.
Yes. So short.
But yeah, so those were two things that I felt like were pretty high on my list. I knew that I needed you to get along well with my family.
Yeah.
And because and family and friends.
Though when I first met your brother, I wanted to strangle him.
No, but by the time we met, you and Joel were getting along great.
Yeah.
And
now for the record, I say I wanted to strangle him, but there was no hostility between Joel and I, none at all. And the last couple episodes, I kept saying he get on my nerves. No,
right.
Me and Joel.
Tell the story. Tell what happened real quick, babe.
Okay, so it was our first year at Oakwood University, and I was an older student coming in, and so here I am now in the freshman dorm.
Yes,
where these kids, from my perspective, right? These kids did not sleep, and I'm older, so I needed my beauty rest or whatever, and my room was right up underneath the chapel, and I remember 2:00 in the morning.
Yes.
2:00 in the morning.
Because my brother does not sleep.
He does not sleep
Still
at all.
to this day.
And so at 2:00 in the morning, someone is playing the piano in the chapel right above my room and woke me up. So here I am, angry. What they say, 38 hot. And I ran upstairs really to just let someone hear some unnice words. And when I got there, he was playing one of my favorite songs, and I started singing.
That was Jesus.
I walked up there and I was like, "Is that?" And I just started singing, and he played.
Jesus knew that later on you'd be marrying his sister.
But no, I really wanted to go up there and just, I was not going to be nice until I heard the song, and I
softened you right on up.
Sure did.
Yes, sure that's the power of music too.
Yes.
So yeah, that's why you tease about Joel.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Joel.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I think that for me, my mate or the one needed to get along with my family and friends.
Okay.
And so you fit that pretty immediately, considering we met at a party where my friends were.
I knew everyone in that party, but
and later on that night, I realized you met my brother and knew him. So yeah, that was a thing. So that was an easy, quick check in the first 24 hours.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
Those are just a couple of the things.
Okay.
But for me, they were must.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the must for me was I needed to know though that I was coming home to somebody who was going to, make my day feel better than it was when I was out working. So that's all that mattered to me. No.
That's not all that matters.
That's not all.
I got you.
All right. Can we play a game?
Yeah, we can play a game.
Yeah. Let's do that.
All right.
You ready?
Yes.
Oh.
I did it on purpose. I just want to see you take that nice deep breath. Okay, you ready?
No good. See, this is why
eyebrows all high in the air.
I was ready. I was all
cheesing.
Excited. And you
took a nice
me down.
deep breath, and I'm just sitting there looking at you with my hand on my face.
Just let me down. You know what?
That was pretty funny.
I'm not saying anything.
That's all right. I can do it myself. Da-da-da-da.
Da-da-da-da.
That was so whack. Oh my goodness. All right. So today's game is I do or I don't.
I do or I don't. Now listen, you know what? We didn't remind people why we do this stuff, right?
We didn't for the segment either. Oh my goodness, I forgot.
Yeah. So listen, people, the reason why we do our segments and our games is to spark some communication between each other.
Yes.
Right? To give us some time to sit down and learn more about each other.
Just each other.
Just each other. So and listen, I don't care that you think these games are silly.
Right.
They're supposed to be that silly.
Yes.
Right.
And for that matter, these games could be done with a dating partner as well.
That's right. You ain't got to be married to play these games.
It's just getting to know the person deeper. There we go.
That's it. All right. So I do or I don't. So what are we doing here? We got 3 categories.
Do you like classical music? I do or I don't.
Do you?
I do.
What? Wait a minute. Wait. I remember growing up when I would clean the house, and when the house was clean, I'd turn on classical music.
So why you act like that with me then?
Because,
so you like classical music?
Yeah, I do.
So you act like you didn't know that I did too.
I didn't. People, it has been 28 years we have been together. And
I'm trying to think, when did I play? Ooh,
no.
Okay, maybe, okay.
No, you would. Now I'm gonna tell you, the only time you would play classical music, no, you played jazz. It was jazz for the boys when they were younger.
Yeah, I would play jazz.
Kind of settle them down or whatever.
I would play classical music too.
But I don't remember very much classical music in the house.
And we would homeschool, but you weren't there during that time because you were at work.
Working.
And so I was like, you may not. But I also, if I'm studying, I'll turn on classical music.
Okay.
Especially when I was at Oakwood, when I was in school.
Yeah.
It helped me think. And as a matter of fact, it's a must.
Okay.
I can't just study and do stuff without music. That's just
we
not
have
gonna happen.
Learned something about each other.
So yes, I like classical music too.
This is it. I mean, the one. She is the one, y'all. I have figured it out. I found the one.
I don't know very many people who are actually doing the music. I just like to listen to it.
Yeah. Now, so there's like like when you take a music appreciation in school or whatever.
Yes.
Right. And they teach you all the different things, the movements and all
there are
that.
genres within classical music. I like them all.
Yeah. I just like to hear and understanding that it is an orchestra. Yes. Oftentimes it is an orchestra, a big band playing together to make beautiful sound. And yeah, that's what I like about it.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't know anybody's names. I don't know the names of songs. I don't.
Me either.
Don't ask me none of that. I
just like to find it on my Apple Music and play it.
I just like to hear it. That's it. It's background noise, So, okay.
All right. I do or I don't have a green thumb.
You know what? I want to say that I do.
I think you do. You don't water these plants around the house, but I think that you do.
That's not my job to water these plants around the house.
I don't have a green thumb, though.
And you know what? Hold on. Let me say something. I want to say this.
It's time for them to be watered.
It is time to be watered. It's time for them. But these plants, where they come from?
Your house, for the most part, yeah. Yep. This one's yours.
Yep. This one was too.
Was that one? I don't know.
Now, don't ask me what they're called.
I don't know. I remember you having many plants in your bachelor pad before we married.
I had several plants, big and small.
And I killed, we brought them all to our house and I killed most of them.
Most of them. I think there's only 2 left. There's one in the studio. I think it's dead.
No.
It's
and
dead?
That one didn't, it's dead. And that one didn't come from your house.
No, it didn't. You're right. Man, you done killed so you definitely don't have a green thumb.
I don't. It did take me 27 years to kill that one.
I should be ashamed of myself to have subjected my plants to your non-green thumb self.
I do. I really tried, but I don't know what my problem is.
Killed my plants. Y'all.
I do not have my daddy's green thumb.
These plants have been with me since they were with me before you.
They were. You should have taken care of them. I tried. I really tried. We're down to 2.
I'm in tears now. No.
Really? Oh, the dramatics. Oh.
Killed my plants.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. I tried.
Okay. Next one.
All right. Enjoys reading.
Reading what?
Is that a no? Because the whole attitude and the roll of the neck wasn't necessary. Jeez.
I'm just saying.
I like Audible. I like to listen to books being read to me.
Okay.
As far as reading a book, that answer is no. I'll read magazine articles.
Yeah.
I'll read newspaper articles, any kind of article in general if I'm interested in it.
Yeah.
Research. I'm good with all those things. To sit down and actually read a book and enjoy that time, no.
Yeah.
I really can't sit still that long. That's really the honest point.
Yeah. And then people could sit down and start reading fiction and stuff. I can't do that.
No,
now, I will read something that is going to, I'm doing research. I do that.
Yes.
That type of reading.
No, and I will listen to a book being read to me, and I will be totally into it while I'm cleaning the house or while I'm doing other things. But I can't just sit down and just read.
Remember, we did that as a date one day. Bought a little book from like the dollar store, and I read it. There was like little stories in the book, and I read it to you. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a short book, a small book,
there's an idea.
Yeah, but then also. Because I have read through them pretty quickly because I don't want to sit down and do it again. So you know what? Let me just go ahead and take this hour and read through this book and then get the information and then I'm out.
All right. Dun-dun-dun-dun. That was the game.
That was the
game. Okay. So what's next, babe?
All right. So let's go ahead and give some signs.
Okay.
To show that you have found the one for you.
Yeah, because I asked you, how did you know? Yeah. So then I'm sure we all want to know the signs.
Yeah, I mean, there's many signs, but we're going to talk about 10, because some signs may be different for different people and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So how they make you feel, that you feel heard and understood, seen, safe, that you are attractive, that you're smart, And that list goes on.
Okay.
So we talked about earlier how I made you feel, how you made me feel, but that is definitely a sign.
So then that was the sign to me.
Yes.
That's how I knew.
That is correct.
I may not have said that I know.
No, I don't think you did.
I know I said that I knew.
But then also chemistry.
Yeah.
I know that was a big sign for us.
Yeah.
We immediately had chemistry.
Immediately from the top.
From the top.
Yep.
Yeah. So being attracted to that person, that's a big sign, of course.
Right. Yeah.
That they treat you and everyone with kindness and respect. My example earlier was, no hostile speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to make sure that the person who you are dating or who you see potentially as the one speaks with kindness and respect.
And not just to you, but to
everybody. Yes.
Yeah. That's very,
always.
very, very important, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's tells you their character.
Yeah. Because then if they will speak to someone else that way, they will speak to you that way.
Yes. All right. You want to read a few?
Sure. Someone who pays attention to you, even with changes, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you go through changes.
Life changes.
Yeah.
Making sure that person pays attention to you and doesn't mind the changes.
But we'll still love you. I mean, that's kind of the point I was really making, right? Just with, like me, my hair fell out.
Yes.
Well, it didn't fall out.
Because you're bald. Growing. Or you should be bald.
Maybe. Anyway, but you pay attention to me.
Yeah.
Even with my balding head.
I like your bald head.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's why I want you to be bald.
Okay. All right.
Well, I mean, since your hair is not a full head anymore,
you don't want me to
go ahead and knock the rest of it off.
You want me to be bald because you don't like bald spots in my head.
This is correct. We're going to go and be honest. That is correct.
So be honest then.
I did. I literally just said it.
No, because you tried to make it sound sexy, right? I just want you to be bald.
I do like your bald head. It is sexy to me. So I ain't see why you trying to hold on to the hair.
Mm-hmm.
It already told you what it wanted to do.
It did.
It did. So just go on.
Yeah. Anyway, here's another sign that a person is reliable and trustworthy.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They say they do what they say they gonna do. Right.
Reliable and trustworthy. That is correct.
Yep. And
calm behavior, especially during conflict.
Yep, that's me.
Level-headed.
That's me.
Yeah, that's you.
All day long.
All day long.
All day long. That's me.
We had our moments before in our early marriage.
Oh, man.
I guess everybody can reach those points. But
yeah, I growed up, y'all.
But yeah, you grew up.
I growed up.
All right, takes responsibility. Look at you. Yep. Look at you taking responsibility.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, you don't want someone who blames it on everybody else or everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who takes responsibility and who's accountable for their actions.
Yeah. Okay.
Honest about their strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
May as well just go ahead and say it's okay if it's a weakness. It may not always be a weakness.
Because that means then that,
you're
this
human.
person.
That's what it means.
Yeah. And that you're willing to learn.
Yes, you're willing to learn and it's okay.
Yeah.
Everyone has strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
So let's recognize them. Maybe your weaknesses are my strengths.
Yep. Yep. That's how we grow. Or you want somebody who is a supporter of your dreams.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you what, that's another way I knew you were the one.
No, really?
Yeah. When I wanted to go travel the world and sing everywhere.
Yeah.
You were supporting me of that.
I did.
you
We're laughing because there's a story behind it. But yes, I was supportive. Yes, I was. Even in dating.
Yes. Yes. I traveled a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And Kenya was there with me.
Yes, I was.
And my manager.
Yes, that is correct. Me and the manager just tagging along.
Yep. A supporter of your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And you bring out the best in each other.
Yes, that's correct.
I'm going to tell you something. The other thing about it, and I want to kind of flip that one.
Okay.
You bring out the best in each other, but they make you want to be better.
Yes, agreed. I agree.
It's one of those things where you don't want to be dishonest because I'm with you. right? I don't want to be dishonest because I'm with you. I don't want to act a nut because I'm with you.
Agreed.
You know, and so yeah, I also feel like, and maybe this is something that we could talk about in another episode, and I mean this sincerely, not because
I was about to
say, but something, the checks and balances between us.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is being able to reel me in when I'm going in the wrong direction.
Right. And even in a dating situation, that can still happen.
Yeah.
You know that person well enough.
Yeah.
Because you are dating. You can't generally do that on the third date unless they just wilding. That's just, you know what, I have to check you because you got a line.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But in general, you know that person well enough, you'll know these things, all these things on this list.
Yeah.
Because you have taken time to date them and talk and communicate and get to know.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's one thing, right? That can we call it a bonus?
Maybe. Go ahead.
You know when you feel like your life is more complete.
Yes.
In every way.
Correct.
You complete me.
Yes, I do.
I mean, and I think that's one of the, I'll have to admit that's one of the things that I really admired about our relationship.
Oh, when we were dating?
You feel
like I completed you?
Yeah, I did.
All right, look at there, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of felt like, because in when we look at, how we meshed together, how we went, it just seemed
seamless.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So there it is. Yeah.
So always continue to strengthen your relationships in general and learn how to always do things with kindness.
Yeah.
Forgiveness, especially in conflict.
Yes.
When you're dating, you should have conflict because you want to know how that person handles conflict.
Yeah. I mean, we just had this whole 3 episodes talking about conflict. Make sure you check them out. How to argue with your spouse and resolving conflict parts 1, 2, and 6 and 17.
You said 3. Okay, it was 1 and 2.
So make sure you go back and check those out, right?
Yes. Also enjoy your journey of being single, you know, until your mate comes along. You don't necessarily have to go out and search.
Yeah.
It's okay. Enjoy your journey.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because everybody's journey is different. Yeah. Don't look at somebody else and be like, well, they did. No, don't do that.
Everybody's journey is different.
Everyone's
because we're all different. And we're all different because God made us different.
Yeah.
There's no one on earth like you.
Nobody.
All right. So in closing, hope you all were able to gain some information.
Yes.
Some nice little tips.
Yes.
So that you kind of know about yourself and your growth, and then also how to recognize
the one.
Your one.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us on the Marriage Be Like podcast.
Yes.
Marriage Be Like show, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
On Envision Radio. Right. You can join us when, babe?
On Thursdays.
Every Thursday
at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm sorry, not but and 3 p.m. Central Standard Time.
That is correct.
Yeah. So 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern, okay? Or just go to the marriagebelike.com. Listen, the updated episodes are on the website and on your podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Amazon Music Podcast. Those show up on Friday, even on our website. So listen, we send this to Envision Radio before it ends up on our website. Look at that.
Look at there.
So Envision, that's how much we love Envision Radio.
Envision Radio gets it first.
They get it before we do.
That is correct. So you got to listen on Envision Radio on Thursdays.
Envision-radio.com.
.com.
And if you miss it, just go to marriagebelike.com. You can check it out. And if you got a question for Kenya, because sometimes she talks in circles, you can email us at Kenny and Kenya at marriagebelike.com.
Go ahead and subscribe to our podcast wherever you get podcasts.
That's it. Follow us.
Yes. And don't forget to tell your friends and family.
Tell your friends and mom and them.
Yes. All right. Thank y'all for listening.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.